In this video, I'm going to show you how you can make $1.4 million an hour with the hangar business in GTA 5 Online. So of course, the first thing you'll need is a hangar, and I highly suggest going with hangar 3499 in Fort Zancudo. It's by far the best location, and it has allowed me to do some of these source missions in under 3 minutes, under 2.5 minutes at times. Also, make sure to get the living quarters in your hangar so that you can set it as a spawn location. That will make things a lot easier. So once that's done, we could then head over to our office and hop onto the computer. And now we're going to head into the source tab. There are 8 different types of cargo you could source, and they're each worth a minimum of $30,000 once you source them. But there is a catch. With the business, depending on how many of each type of cargo you have, you can actually earn a percentage bonus on your sell mission. And as you can see here, the more you own of each type, the bigger that bonus gets. But some cargo gets a bigger bonus than others. And in the past, I always thought to go with either narcotics, medical supplies, or chemicals because they gave out a 70% bonus for 50 crates. But I've changed my mind and I've found a better way to run the business. Now, 50 crates is a maximum you could have in the hangar warehouse. So if we're going for only one type of good, we're gonna have to do that source mission 50 times. And here's where the problem comes in. After each source mission, there's going to be about a 2.5 to 4 minute cooldown depending on the type of good you are sourcing. And so when we complete the source mission, we have to wait a short period of time to do the next one. And that's not efficient. So what I found is if I source 2 different types of cargo back to back to back, that's going to cut out the waiting of the cooldown time. But there are very specific types of cargo that you should be going for so that we could still maximize the bonus that we get at the very end. So the 2 different types of cargo I decided to go for was a choice between counterfeit goods or tobacco products, and also doing medical, chemicals, or narcotics. So one of each of those groups. In my case, I just went for the counterfeit goods and I went for narcotics. And as I said, if we're splitting it 50-50, that means we're going for 25 of each type of product. And if we get 25 of the counterfeit goods, we will get a 25% bonus. And if we get 25 of the narcotic crates, we will get a 35% bonus, making it a combined 60% bonus. Now, although that's less than the 70% we could get from getting 50 crates of narcotics, chemicals, or medical supplies, the amount of time we're spending is a lot less, so we're actually gonna make more money per hour. Now, before we get into any source missions, it's important to note that there's 2 different types we could do. There's air and land. We only want to do land because they are much faster and solo friendly. So with that being said, what I first did was start up a mission for one of the 2 different types of goods. During that mission, I used my Raiju, the jet, which is the best vehicle to use for these missions because it is the fastest air vehicle in the entire game. If you don't have the money for it or don't have the jet already, something like the Sparrow can work as well. You want it to be a vehicle that you could spawn right outside of your warehouse. So that's what I do. As soon as I exit and start up the source mission, I call it in from my interaction menu, run over to it, and take off that way. Now, there's a few different types of source missions we could get. The first type you want to completely avoid at all costs. If it says go to Paleto Bay, Alamo Sea, or El Burro Heights, completely avoid it by making the hangar your spawn location, load up into a new invite-only session, and then restart a new source mission. As for the other 3, the first type of mission you could get is it tells us to go to La Mesa or to Richmond. This is where they're going to give us a location to a warehouse or a garage. Once you show up there, there's going to be a generator located somewhere outside. It's a big white box. If you take it out, you can take it out with the Raiju cannons or a missile or even a shotgun that will take it out. Once you take out the generator, the garage doors will open up. You just have to run into there, grab the cargo, and take off. These missions are very simple. I found they usually take me about 3 minutes, even when they're down in the city. The next type of mission is one where it says to go infiltrate a deal. Now, when you get there, there's going to be tons of enemies, and what you want to look for is a large red trailer. In that trailer is going to have the cargo. Now, it's going to prompt you to pick up the cargo with a truck cab and drive it back, but you don't have to do that. If you destroy it, the cargo will drop. You could pick it up from there and fly away. That's what I did every single time, and those missions for me were usually the ones where I could do them in about 2.5 or under 3 minutes. And finally, the last type of source mission is one where you're directed to go to an airfield. Once you get there, they will redirect you to a crash site. At the crash site, there's going to be a ton of enemies around, but they're all guarding and looking for the cargo that's in the field. If you took the Raiju or Sparrow over, you could actually look around the field from above in the air, and you'll be able to see it because the cargo is bright and flashing. All you gotta do is drop down, pick it up, and fly it back to the hangar. This one usually is about 3.5, maybe 4.5 minutes to complete. So as you can see, most of these source missions are very quick. I found that the longest source mission took me 5 minutes, and the fastest was just over 2 minutes, which is incredible. But of course, like I mentioned earlier, the only reason why this is possible is because I had that specific hangar location, it's in a great spot, and I had the Raiju. Now the whole process of me getting 25 crates of each type of good took me about 4 hours. I think it was 4 hours and 4 minutes, which is very fast. If we were to do a full 50 crates of one type of cargo, it would likely be about 7 hours or so. So we saved a ton of time. And that then, of course, brings us to the sell missions. How do we make this money? So when you go into your sell screen, you're going to see that we have 25 of each type of good. What you're going to have to do is 2 separate sell missions so that you get the bonus for each. I actually made the mistake in my haste of trying to get this video out. I just went down to the very bottom and put sell all cargo. If you do that, you're not going to get the percentage bonuses for both. So that was my mistake. Make sure you don't make that mistake too. Sell each cargo individually, the 25 crates each. When you do your sell mission, make sure you choose a land mission because the land missions only ever give you 1 sell vehicle. You may get 1 or 10 deliveries, it depends, but they're very simple to do and you can easily do them in the time frame that they give you. Now, if you do these 2 separate sell missions in invite-only lobbies, you'll make a few $1 million and probably average out about $1 million per hour. But we don't want to do that. Instead, we want to do these sell missions in public lobbies with 20 or more people so that you could get a 50% high demand bonus. And that is going to take you up to about the $1.5 million per hour. Now, selling in public lobbies can be nerve-wracking, but number 1, remember that it's only 1 sell vehicle, so it's not going to be too bad. Number 2, I suggest selling at night, so it's harder for other players to see you, and pair that up with number 3, which is using Ghost Organization through your CEO abilities tab in the interaction menu that will take you off the radar for 3 full minutes. That way, people can't see you at all. And if you're doing a larger sale with many deliveries, most people will probably forget about you anyways. Now, if you want to be extra safe, make sure to check your lobby before you do the sell mission to make sure there's not a bunch of people with Oppressor Mark IIs running around. Make sure it's a relatively safe and passive lobby. Once that's done, you can start it up and go for it. So with that being said, if you did this entire process the way I laid it out, you sourced the right kind of product and the right amount of each product, and then also sold in a public lobby with 20 or more people, you will be making just over $5,850,000. And if it takes you about 4.5, maybe 5 hours to complete it, you're looking at making $1.4 million an hour. Considering this business has no cooldown time, I personally think it's now better than the Cayo Perico heist, at least for this week. So I hope this video helped, and I wish you guys the best of luck in your grinding. I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.